It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Well, hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola with you, as always. The Oil Stream is brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. That West Edmonton Mall opening is just around the corner, all right? The countdown is on. I think it's about 10 days, and you'll be able to go to West Edmonton Mall and, you know, go ride the roller coaster and watch a movie and get some Popeye's chicken nugs. It really is difficult to make West Edmonton Mall much better, but they've gone and done it, Tommy.
Dusty, nothing says a trip to West Edmonton Mall like a juicy, delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich. I'll tell you what, brother.
100 correct. I'm glad you said it, because I was just like, oh man, I totally easily tied that in. So that's good. Nielsen and Gazzola brought to you by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. I mean, we're talking almost 24 locations in Edmonton and the northern Alberta area, so no shortage of ways to get your hands on that Popeye's chicken sandwich. The Oil Stream now officially a part of the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network, as Coolbet has kind of come on to oversee all of it, including the Oil Stream, and we'll get to that a little bit later on. It'll be the Coolbet Inside the Numbers. We're going to talk a little bit about Nuge today on that aspect of it. If you are watching on the live stream, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, the Oil Stream, and all your podcasting platforms. That's where you can find it. Hop on over on YouTube, Nielsen Media and Entertainment on YouTube. We got the Coolbet swag on here today. I got the hat. Tommy's got the shirt. And we've got new swag on the way. They got a bunch of like whiteouts, like black with just white. And that should be coming this month as well, Tommy. So we're gonna be looking even better, my man, if that was possible.
I love it. Oh, I mean, we're already at the tippy top of our game, and it's not even the start of the season. So this is all good news, baby.
Let's start with Darnell Nurse, buddy. What's going on with Nurse?
He's in town. He's going to be taking part in informal skates if he already hasn't. I know that we saw Matthias Janmark. We saw Ryan McLeod. We saw Evan Bouchard is also here. Derek Ryan, and that's on top of Leon Draisaitl being in tow. So now you can add Darnell Nurse to that mix, Dusty, as the informal skates continue down at the DCA. And the other little tidbit that goes with that, I mean, this isn't anything thrilling for the public, but just for us as media, it sounds like maybe as soon as Friday, we'll be able to make our way down there. And if we need to talk to players or just observe some things, if you will.
The Hound's about to be released. I like it. You know what? I will say this. It's great for content for everybody in the city. Other members of the media who might be away covering Canadian Football League and still want to talk about the team. There'll be some stuff generated there as well. For the fan base, there'll be some stuff generated. So that'll be good. And that's a grind, man. If you're covering, you know, the pre-camp skates. Very first one I ever did. I remember I got hired. They used to skate at the Kinsman. Remember down at the Kinsman? Was it the Kinsman? Yep. Yeah, it was the Kinsman.
They did. Yep.
Yeah, and I was just hired, you know, super eager, all this stuff, and I go down there, and Dustin Penner was skating, and it was like 2 days after the Danny Heatley shit went down with like the trade, it's not a trade, and I remember it was like the first NHLer that I interviewed in person, being down at the skate, and he was a little testy with me after all the trade rumors. I was just like, look, man, it's a valid question. Like, you just, everybody knows they tried to trade you to get Danny Heatley, so just relax, I guess.
He is a strange individual. I got along well with him, surprisingly. I have a story that's not fit for air about him, an experience I had with him in Newport Beach, which is, I think, pretty funny. But it's one that'll stay in the vault and maybe make its way to the pages of my book at some point, because I think I should write one. I have some great stories, and those continue to the storybook and the repertoire and Rolodex of stories continue to grow.
Hey, if Lotai can do it, buddy, you can do it. Now, he's an author. He's a writer. Yes. I mean, but you can pull it off. Get him to ghostwrite your book.
I might need to, because he's quite eloquent with words. I can't wait to read his book. I hope I get a signed copy from him, or I go purchase it and go to the signing and he recognizes me or something along those lines. That would be wonderful. But I hope my book is going to be the first ever written in crayon in the sports media business.
How about just teaming up with Zach Hyman and making it a children's book?
That's pretty much what it's going to be anyway. I'll
Yeah.
describe the events, and then I'll make doodles with crayon, and then him and I can mash it together and make it into something for kids.
That'll look terrific. I think that'll go over
Thank you.
very well. All right, so it is the oil stream. We're talking, Darnell Nurse, everybody else rolling in. Media will be allowed to watch some of these skates as of Friday. More guys are obviously going to trickle in here over the next 3, 4, 5 days. So that group will eventually be ready to go for camp, rookie camp. Obviously, prior to that, Tommy, see some jersey sponsors popping up around the league. What are you hearing on that front?
Yeah, jersey sponsors are a reality in the NHL, and as for the Edmonton Oilers, it does not sound like they're going to have a jersey sponsor this season, Dusty. I mean, this could obviously change. You want to find the right deal at the right price.
Yeah.
But as of now, it doesn't look like the Oilers are going to have a jersey sponsor this season. But helmet sponsors are also available. And the Oilers will have one helmet sponsor. That's the away helmet. And it sounds like it's Skip the Dishes, from what I'm told. That's going to be
a
on
little
the away
orange
helmet.
On the blue?
Yeah. And then
That'll be on the
home
white.
helmet, nothing.
That'd be on the white. Be on the white.
Nothing on the
That's still
home
looking.
helmet. Yeah, away helmet, Skip, sounds like. And then for the jerseys, it doesn't sound like they're going to have a sponsor on there this year. Again, subject to change, but that's what I was told yesterday.
Not really 100% sure. And by the way, if you want to get some Popeye's chicken, you can do that on Skip the Dishes, Uber Eats, and DoorDash. But I think I don't know how the back end of it all works, but it must be a scam because those companies have a ton of money, an absolute ton of money, which I guess is why a lot of companies say just call in local or like get it directly from us, and then they skip those fees. But yeah, a lot of money if you're going to be throwing logos around on helmets, that's for sure. Plus, I like the idea of no jersey because I think anybody who's going to wear a logo, to get in exchange for some money is absolutely ridiculous, and you're a complete sellout for doing that.
I don't know what exactly you mean by that, Dustin. Sorry, I just need to adjust my very comfortable cotton shirt.
I just need to push my nipple up towards the screen for a second. Old Nipples Gazzola out here dropping bombs on us today. So
it's cold in here. Ooh.
It's freezing. All right, so there you go. Let's get to your Boston Pizza appetizer. Of course, happy hour daily from 2 to 5, and then again from 9 until close. You want to milk in a little bit more patio time before things get cold. Boston Pizza is your place for there. And watch for details. We'll be at a Boston Pizza location in the second half of September, closer to the beginning of the season. And hopefully you can all join us, and we'll have an absolutely wonderful time together. The Boston Pizza appetizer, some news from the Oilers today. Shout out to their crew for sending that over right before off-season. What off-season on the Nielsen show, because we didn't have shit to talk about today, so that was great. But yeah, for the Edmonton Oilers, we talked about it for a long time. Right? That guy should go up in the rafters, because how else are you going to honor him? Well, they should do something else to honor him, whether it be a hall somewhere, or a Hall of Fame, or a Ring of Honor. And it was announced today that is coming. The 10 guys who are already hanging will go along the ring just above the loge. They're going to add 2 more this year, and then it could be up to 3 every year following that. Doesn't have to be. Could be up to it. A nice mix of former star players, former players that we wouldn't describe as stars, longtime members of the media, a few other folks from the community. Tommy, I kind of like the way that this thing's been put together.
Yeah, a long time coming, and it's easy to forget that this is the 50th year of the Edmonton Oilers. I know they started out as Alberta Oilers, but 72, 73, and you see the established 1979 NHL t-shirts. Well, really, they're established in 1972. So it's a cool way to honor 50 years of Edmonton Oilers hockey. And there's a few things I saw, like the reaction has been very good. I mean, you're giving the arena a little bit more character in there, and you're going to see names that, not necessarily are banner worthy. And I like that it also separates the banners and the distinction of that from just being distinguished members of the Oilers organization. I think that's long overdue as well. Other organizations do it really well. So you're going to see some names from the past and some good ones, some that maybe aren't as recognizable, but really poured a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into the organization that are deserving of recognition. And Dusty, I know players are always going to be the emphasis, rightly so. But with this Oilers Hall of Fame, it's going to be trainers, former owners. You think of the Edmonton Investors Group. Without them, there is no Edmonton Oilers. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw like a Peter Pocklington at some point. Sparky Kolchiski, Joey Moss, obviously, might be one of them. Like these are good ones. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Staffy,
Yeah.
Barry Stafford, Kenny Lowe. Like this is the platform where you can have those names and honor them and recognize them. And a kid goes to a game and goes, "Geez, Dad, who is Lee Fogelin?" And the dad goes, "Well, when the Oilers first started in the National Hockey League, he was an Edmonton guy. He was the first. He was one of the first captains of the team, and he passed the captaincy off to Wayne Gretzky. And I think it's a good addition. And then I'll even add this. This is just a suggestion. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but they have this really long corridor between the two club sections that has just blank walls. Like if you have Hall of Fame members of the Edmonton Oilers, why not have their like story in a little mural of them on that hallway in the walls? Because that wall is so blank.
You could tie that in, even maybe not necessarily with guys who are going to go up on the Hall of Fame, but great moments. Like, because I heard J-Mo and Ty today talking about Fernando Pisani, and Low Tide was like, he's going to be in there. And I'm like, look, Fernando had 2 30-point seasons, man. 2 30-point seasons, 30 and 37. But went on this crazy run where he scored 14 goals on a Stanley Cup Finals run, which they didn't end up winning in the end. I mean, if he goes into the Hall of Fame, it's 100% of the strength of 2 months in 2006, which is, God love the guy, and he's a great dude, like one of the best guys. But like that doesn't get up there for me. But if you take that section that you said and lay it out, and there is a mural there of Pisani scoring against Carolina in Game 5 or Game 6, and things along those lines. I think something like that would be big. I think that's
absolutely it would be, and
because you can't throw everybody up on you can't throw everybody up on that ring, even though there's a bunch of guys that should go up there.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's a good way to again add character to the building. Another way they could do it too is they're supposed to rotate the Hall of Fame room, like the display case.
Okay.
And, I mean, COVID kind of messed up a lot of stuff, so I think that totally was on the back burner. But they put the Joey Moss half green and gold, half Oilers jersey in there, and I think that was the latest addition. They've moved a few things around, but like if you want to honor Fernando Pisani, grab one of his sticks from that run or his gloves and put it on display there. Yeah, there's ways to do it, and I think Fernando Pisani is a class guy, but does he belong in the Edmonton Oilers Hall of Fame? That might be a stretch, but he does deserve to be recognized for his feats in 2006 and what he continues to do for hockey in the community.
Yeah,
he spent time on the Oil King staff. Like he's a prominent member of the hockey in the city.
All right. So as we look at this, they're going to bring in the 10 guys, and then they're going to add 2 more, Tommy. I'm saying, and you relate it out. It doesn't have to be players. I'm saying Joey Moss, and I'm saying probably Ryan Smith. And I'm going to go with Smith because, I mean, we see what's going to be up there right now. It's the 80s, right? And then there's other guys from the 80s, the Huddies and these guys, and, Billy Ranford, these guys. They're going to get up there eventually. I just think it would be nice to get another era represented in there. And so many people talked about Ryan Smith for so long. I mean, I think that would be a perfect combination of the two, to be honest with you. But who else are you looking at? What else are you thinking?
Yeah, I'll say Doug Weight. I'm totally biased towards Doug Weight. I think he deserves to be in there. And then I'll go a little bit off the board with like a former owner, like a Cal Nichols or a Jim Hull that helped save the team, because it's just to kind of give people an idea of it's not just the players. And a guy whose name I keep seeing pop up is Ales Hemsky. I think he's down the list. I think he's way down the list. I don't know if I mean, he'll get there at some point, but I think there's way more prominent former Oilers that'll get in above him. That's just my take on it. But I also think too, it doesn't always have to be players every single year. So I'll go with like a Jim Hull or a Cal Nichols who helped save the team when ATB had to take it away from Peter Pocklington. This is a great way to recognize guys like that.
which is also important to recognize guys like that and have had, an impact in other roles for the franchise and organization, which is exactly what they want this to be. So, I'm very intrigued to see how it plays out over the next 5-6 years. Like, who are we talking about over the next 5 or 6 years going in? And look, a Hall of Fame debate. I said it on my show this morning. Matty, Stoff, Gregor, Jonesy, coming for you. This is what happens when you're on a Hall of Fame committee. You end up getting ripped for decisions a lot of the time. So it's gonna be really fun. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything about Wayne Gretzky's pick. I'll probably side with him, but it's gonna be. I love the Hall of Fame debate. It enrages me sometime, and now we get to have it again with people that we're familiar with. It's gonna be really fun.
Dusty, the thing with the media, yes, I know we'll probably chastise Stauffer, Gregor, and Matheson and Jonesy about picks and stuff like that because we know them and they're our friends. But I don't think media belongs on the Oilers Hall of Fame unless you're a play-by-play guy. So obviously Rod's going to be in there, and maybe at some point Jack, probably Bob because of his deep affiliation with the organization, and I get that. But just other members of the media, I don't like it. And on top of that, there is we have
the media.
Box.
There's the media thing up in the press box, right? Like to me,
exactly.
I mean, Rod Phillips is one of a kind. And Jack's amazing, but Rod did what he did with the legendary teams, and I get it when that's why it's up there. But I mean, there's kind of a spot for those guys in the media. So I would agree with you. I mean, I'd probably put Phillips up there and then leave it, and the members of the media can be honored on the media wall with all the other guys who are already up there. I think that's probably the best way to go about it. So that's your Boston Pizza. What's that?
The Canucks have Jim Robson, I believe, up on their wall of honor.
Do they have Robson up there?
That's the only one I can think of.
And the Oilers got Phillips, right? He'll be there. So that is your Boston Pizza appetizer, full takeout and delivery options available. Order or call your local Boston Pizza, and you can actually download that BP's app, and they'll get you taken care of as well. All right, let's slide over our new segment with my wonderful partners at Cool Bets, the Nielsen Media Cool Bet Network, now here on the Oil Stream as well. Stay cool, bet responsibly, and we'll be betting a lot once the Edmonton Oilers get rolling. There's no doubt about that. I usually do. Some days are really, really good. Some days are not very good, but with the Oilers, it's fun to bet the over. We love betting the over, and the Oilers are a great over team. So none of the player props are available just yet, but I thought one of the fun things to do with Inside the Numbers here presented by Cool Bet will be to discuss a lot of the key players on this team and their points total moving forward. A little over-under game here, Tommy Gazzola. So let's do this. It's Inside the Numbers, brought to you by Cool Bet. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 64.5 points this year. Tommy, over or under 64.5 for the Nuge?
Well, in spite of our dear friend and texter Alfred, who despises Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, I'll go with the over for Nuge.
You are going to go with the over. Wow.
I'll take it. I'm very partial towards him. I think just the way he touches all facets of the game. Sometimes when he's not moving his feet, he's not at his best. And I think there was a lot of that last season. But I think this could be a bounce back year for Nugent-Hopkins. I'll take the over on the Cool Bet Inside the Numbers over under here.
Very fascinating number, and I didn't grab this number from anywhere. I just made this number up. And when you look at Nuge's career, he's only finished with more than 64.5 points once. However, in the last 3 years, it was 50 points and 63, which should have been on pace to probably put him over the total. 61 and 65 3 years ago, which certainly would have put him over the total. Gets a ton of power play time. His 5-on-5 numbers last year were not great. They would have to get a bump up if he was going to hit this number. I'm going to go slightly under. I'm going to go slightly under with the Nuge at 64.5. I see him in like the 58 to 62 range. So, which would still be a pretty decent season. I know people would be wanting more, but I think we have to look at Ryan Nugent-Hopkins and realize that he might not be in the top 6 the entire year. You've got some pressure coming up. Maybe if Dylan Holloway looks really good, they can go, hey, can play Nuge down the middle. That works well. If they like Puljujarvi and Yamamoto on the right side and Hyman plays on the left side, which is probably unlikely at this point, but we'll see how it all plays out. That pushes Nuge down to the middle. And the fact overall that I think this team is at its best when you're running McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nuge down the middle. If they can find the options on the wings, I think that probably bumps him down a little bit. So I'm going to take the Nuge under 64.5.
Safe bet, Dusty.
I still love the Nuge.
I know. I'm teasing.
But I just think, and you got to stay healthy to hit over, right? And the Nuge misses games. So, it's going to be fun. I got a few more guys to do with this inside the numbers for Cool Bet, so that's going to be it's going to be very, very fun moving forward. And things really start to pick up here, hey Tommy? Like training camp opens in 13 days, and they got business to take care of before then.
There's a chill in the air. You can tell it's kind of hockey season. Leaves are starting to turn. They're falling. It's almost that time, Dusty. Reluctantly so. As much as I want to squeeze every last bit out of the summer, it's almost time to get back.
All right, and unfortunately, because of the new segment with Cool Bet, we don't have time to get to the Fogle haters today. At some point before training camp, we're probably going to have to dress the Fogle haters, but just no time today, Tommy. So take us out here, buddy.
All right. As always, a pleasure. And be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Let's get that algorithm going. #influencers.
Talk to you Friday, bud.
Sounds good.